So for the beginning writer, what's the most lacking in a
For beginning
scene
writers?
construction? Yeah.
Well, scene is one of the many things. In other words, craft. I mean, if you're a beginning writer, you got to learn the craft, and not only you got to learn it, you got to practice it. So you will not. I mean, unless you're a genius who does this instinctively, which is a possibility, you will not accomplish this in your first script. I mean, if you read the 101 Habits, most screenwriters who sold their script usually was their 10th or 14th script. They usually have been working on it for many, many years. So it takes practice, just like any other craft takes practice. And so learn the craft and practice the craft. The other thing too you should know is that there's a lot of information out there about storytelling, about screenwriting, a lot of how-to books. And you got to understand, I always recommend read them all. I mean, I'm a lifelong learner. I read everything. I always try to learn, always, always, always. And when you see the same thing being told, then you got it. That's what I call the basics. Once you learn the basics, then you got to go beyond that, right? And that's what I try to do in my Writing for Emotional Impact book. I go beyond the basics. The book is structured with all the main elements of screenwriting, of storytelling, concept, theme, character, story, scenes, description, dialogue. And the first part is the basics, all the stuff that you should know by now. And now I'm going to teach you the craft, which is what really you should worry about, which is, what is the effect of your writing on a reader, on an audience, and your audience will be a reader. A reader will be your first line of defense. Somebody's going to read your script. And if they're not engaged by your writing, they're not turning the pages, then you failed. You're done. So you got to learn how to do it. You got to learn how to hold somebody's attention, and you got to learn how it's done.
Would you say that the obstacle not being clear sometimes is the number one thing in the beginning?
That's part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of actual symptoms.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's writers who do not understand conflict. They don't know what conflict is. They write scenes that are basically two people talking and just revealing exposition. So it's kind of like they just want the audience to know certain things about their character or their past or about the story. But this is the writer's intention in the scene, not the character's intention. So you get these scenes that are just basically talking heads, just exposition. That's the most boring thing there is. We're not grabbed, no matter how interesting the information is. So conflict, lack of goal, we don't know what the character wants, or we don't care about the character, or the scenes are just, what they're talking about, what the story is about is kind of cliche. We've seen that story 100 times. The concept is, what I call soft concepts. There's nothing in the concept to make me want to see the story. When you think about how you choose to watch a movie, usually you see the poster or you see a tagline or you see a trailer. You can tell. You like analyze how you feel about it when you see it. And you go. Usually for me it's the concept. When I know what a concept is about, when I read about a script that's sold and they say, story is about this and this and this. So you have the log line. Right there, I know whether the movie is going to be successful or not, just from that, because either the log line has a hook to it, and you go, "Oh my God, that's interesting," or, and that feeling, that is what. That's why producers or agents don't request your scripts, because they're just, the concept is just too flat or cliche. But if something is really, there's a hook to it, they're going to at least request the script, and they're going to read it. Now the script might be flawed and it's going to get a pass anyway, but at least it's going to be requested. So if you really have a great concept, which is what I recommend, go for that. Make sure your concept has a hook.